Wawa. Ooh. I don't want to touch it. Oh, it's on. Just testing 7, 12.
No. Grandpa. Should I have the excuse noises in it again?
No. No, it's gonna hurt everyone's ears. Yeah.
Zebulon.
There are no vowels. Yeah, it just said this note, like in capitals. What does it say?
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And to those of you who are joining us on our Temple Shalom YouTube page and on templeshalom.com live, we welcome you as well and wish all of you Shabbat Shalom. We begin on page 128. 128, the second song on the page, Maya Fehayom Shabbat Shalom. What a beautiful day is this day, this Shabbat of peace. Maya Fehayom Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fehayom Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fehayom Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fehayom Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. On page 129, two songs from the bottom of the page, some words that say, when I keep Shabbat, God watches over me. It is a sign, Shabbat is a sign, for always between me and God. Ki eshmer ha-Shabbat el yishmereni. Ki eshmer ha-Shabbat el yishmereni. Oti le'ol me'at beino uveini. Oti le'ol me'at beino uveini. Ki eshmer ha-Shabbat el yishmereni. Ki eshmer ha-Shabbat el yishmereni. if you turn back just a few pages to page 120, we have the blessing for lighting our candles. We're going to invite Aviva Weiss up and her brother Micah to join us also. We like to bring up our B'nai Mitzvah students as we're getting close to their bat mitzvah or their bar mitzvah. Stay over here where the candles are. It's easier to light them if you're over there. Hard to light them if you're way over there. And we like to have our students who have a bat mitzvah or a bar mitzvah coming up soon. And Aviva's is coming up. I didn't count the weeks, but what is it, like 7, 8, 9, something like that. Somewhere around, is it 10? Yeah. Perfect, 10. They always count it, I never do. But 10 weeks away. And so Aviva's going to lead us in some parts of our service tonight. And tonight she's going to give a light to the candles right now. Push the top thing in and then pull the trigger out. Right here.
Wow, microphone.
And we'll have Aviva visit with us a few times during our service as she helps lead some parts of our service. We continue on page 130 as we come to the Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat, helping to leave the week behind and to welcome in the peace of this coming Shabbat that is arriving to us now. Lechu neranena al Adonai, let us sing joyfully to God. Psalm 95, page 130. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena al Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena al Adonai. Naria, naria, letzur yishenu, mekadma fanav betodah. Naria, naria, letzur yishenu, vizmirot nerialo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena al Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena al Adonai. On page 131 from Psalm 96, the bottom paragraph, Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz, the land and the sky and the sea and all the creatures that fill it, give thanks for God's creation on this Shabbat of resting from creation. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yehiram hayam, Yehiram hayam, Yehiram hayam, umelo'o. Yehiram hayam, Yehiram hayam, Yehiram hayam, umelo'o. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. At the bottom of 132, from Psalm 27, the last 4 lines of the Psalm, Or zarua la tzadik ul yishrei lev simcha. Light is sown for those who are righteous, and those who are good-hearted will find happiness. A good formula for what we should do each and every day in our lives. Or Zarua Latzadik Udishrele Simcha. Or Zarua Latzadik Udishrele Simcha. Or Zarua Latzadik Udishrele Simcha. Udishrele Simcha. Or Zarua Latzadik Udishrele Simcha. Udishrele Simcha. Lai 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 lai. At the bottom of 133, we'll read together in English words from Psalm 98. A psalm, sing to Adonai a new song, for God has worked wonders. God's right hand, God's holy arm has won God victory. Adonai has manifested God's victory, has displayed God's triumph in the sight of the nations. God was mindful of God's steadfast love and faithfulness toward the house of Israel. All the ends of the earth beheld the victory of our God. Raise a shout to Adonai, all the earth. Break into joyous songs of praise. And we'll continue with one of those songs at the last three lines of the Hebrew on page 135. We bow down at God's holy mountain and strive to be holy because God is holy. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Vehishtachavu Behar Kodesh. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Vehishtachavu Behar Kodesh. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Vehishtachavu Behar Kodesh. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Vehishtachavu Behar Kodesh. We read together on page 136 and 137, Psalm 29, a psalm of David. Ascribe to Adonai, O divine beings. Ascribe to Adonai glory and strength. Ascribe to Adonai the glory of God's name. Bow down to Adonai, majestic in holiness. The voice of Adonai is over the waters. The God of glory thunders, Adonai, over the mighty waters. The voice of Adonai is power. The voice of Adonai is majesty. The voice of Adonai breaks cedars. Adonai shatters the cedars of Lebanon. God makes Lebanon skip like a calf, Sirion like a young wild ox. The voice of Adonai kindles flames of fire. The voice of Adonai convulses the wilderness. Adonai convulses the wilderness of Kadesh. The voice of Adonai causes hinds to calf and strips forests bare. While in God's temple all say glory. Adonai sat enthroned at the flood. Adonai sits enthroned sovereign forever. May Adonai grant strength to God's people. May Adonai bestow on God's people well-being. Those last two lines in the Hebrew, the last two lines of the Hebrew, Adonai oz le'amo yitain. Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Lai 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 Yivarech et amo v'shalom. Lai 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 continue with Lecha Dodi on page 138 and 139 as we welcome in the image of the Shabbat bride. Lecha Dodi ligrat kala, Enei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, V'shemo tiferet v'tchila. Lecha Dodi ligrat kala, Enei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi ligrat kala, Enei Shabbat nekabela. Ligrat Shabbat mekuven elcha, Ki hi mekor habracha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshavat chila. Lecha Dodi ligrat kala, Enei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi ligrat kala, Enei Shabbat nekabela. Verse number 5. Itoreri, kiva ore, kumi ori, uri, shir daberi, kivod Adonai alayich mila. Lecha Dodi ligrat kala, Enei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi ligrat kala, Enei Shabbat nekabela. We rise as we face the door, as we welcome in the image of the Shabbat bride. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, Gam v'simcha uvtzola, Toch emunei am segula, Boi chala, Lecha Dodi ligrat kala, Enei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi ligrat kala, Enei Shabbat nekabela. As we have welcomed the Shabbat bride, we'll take a moment to welcome each other. So turn to the people to your left, to your right, in front of you, behind you, and we can wish everybody Shabbat Shalom. And for those of you online, Shabbat Shalom to all of you as well. And once you've had the chance to greet each other, we'll let you be seated and find your places again. As we all turn to page 140.
Testing.
You're good. Here we go. All righty.
Okay, what page?
We are all going to now turn to page 140 as we come to Psalm 92, the Psalm of Shabbat. And Aviva's going to help lead us, but we all get to sing along with her with the chorus of this psalm, of Psalm 92, Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat. Are you ready?
Oh. Mizmor shir le'om hashabbat, tov le'odot l'Adonai, u'lezamer le'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer le'shimcha elyon.
You can all sing along with Aviva.
Mizmor shir le'om hashabbat, tov le'odot l'Adonai, u'lezamer le'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer le'shimcha elyon.
להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות עלי עשור ועלי נבר עלי היגיון וחינות
מזמור שיר להום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון
ישימחני אדוני בכל במעשה ידיך רבים מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך
מזמור שיר להום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון
ולזמר
לשמך עליון לזמר לשמך עליון.
And we'll all turn to page 144 as we move from our Kabbalat Shabbat into our Ma'ariv service with Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkadav v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah Yalmad divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala ba'agala uvizman karivim eru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olam me'amaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiram be'alma v'yimeru. Amen. We all turn to page 146 as we'll join, and Aviva's going to help us out here as well. We'll all rise as we call ourselves to prayer with the words of Baruch Hu. Adonai Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Hamevorach Le'olam Va'ed Hamevorach Hamevorach Le'olam. We can all be seated. We continue as we read together at the top of page 149, a poetic rendition of our creation prayer. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, You set its course for eternity. Praised are you, Adonai, from whom the evening flows. El Chai v'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu, Le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'arif Haravim. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. On page 150, we give thanks for the gift of Torah. Just a few weeks ago, we finished reading the end and we began anew. This week we read from a portion called Lech Lecha, God's instructions to a guy by the name of Avram, who will later become Abraham. We'll talk about him in just a little bit here. But this is a prayer that gives thanks for all of the lessons and all of the stories that are there to guide us, as it says in the prayer, about 6 lines from the bottom of the Hebrew, Ki hem chayinu, because its words are our life, ve'orach yaminu, and its words are the length of our days. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadita, Otanu limadita. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochveinu v'kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki ein b'chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nehege yomam v'layla nehege yomam v'layla v'ahavatecha al tasir mimenu le'olami baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael ohev amo Yisrael. In ancient times, in the courtyards of the temple, the Israelites would gather after Ezra the scribe reinstated the idea of reading Torah. They would gather, and the service that Ezra created included the Shema and the 10 Commandments, and then a blessing for hearing Torah. And over time, the rabbis kept the Shema in the service, the concept that there's one God, but they got rid of the 10 Commandments from the service, not from the Torah, but from the service. And why did they get rid of it from the service? They started seeing that the Israelites who had come back from Babylonia thought that those were the only 10 that mattered, and they didn't have to worry about any of the other laws in the Torah. They figured that was probably a bad message that they were sending, and so they took that piece out of the service that they created, but left the Shema for us, and it continues in our service, and it's on page 142. 152 and 153. I don't know if that's the pages I said before. It used to be on some other page that I apparently said and don't know what number I said, but whatever number it's not there anymore. It's now on page 152 and 153, and that's where we're going to find it. Are we singing the camp melody?
Well, I didn't sing that at camp.
Yeah, that one. Hold on, we're going to plan the service right here. Give us a moment. All right, let's do that one. Cool, we'll do that one. All right. We got it all figured out, so here we go. Please join us, page 152 and 153, in a beautiful melody of the words of Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shemgevor Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shemgevor Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
We'll continue with the Viva as we chant together the words of Ve'ahavta, page 154.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'otecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha v'betecha uvlektecha v'derech uvshokbecha uvkumecha ugushartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beinenecha uvtavta al mezuzah betecha uvisharecha L'man tizkeru v'asihem
et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim v'yot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. On page 155, we'll read with Aviva an English translation. It's not an exact translation, more of a poetic translation of the words that we just chanted together. Page 155.
Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work. Whether you are tired or you are rested, let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God.
We come to the Geula, our prayer of salvation, our prayer of redemption. We're going to read together on page 159. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravaged by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. And this song on page 158, our song of freedom, Mi Chamocha, that our ancestors sang as they made their way from slavery toward freedom. All right, Aviva, what melody are we singing?
Wait, where are we? Oh.
That one? Okay, we'll do that one. Cool.
Wait, how many are there?
Aviva just asked me, how many melodies are there for Michamocha? Aviva, we don't have enough time for me to sing all the melodies of Michamocha that exist. We would be here for hours upon hours if I sang all of the melodies that I know. And then if we sang the ones I don't know, we'd be here for more hours beyond that. 'cause
Ask
we'd have to
Google.
look 'em up.
Google will know.
Huh?
Ask
Should we
Google.
go for this one?
Google
This is
will
kind of
know.
a good and joyful
yeah.
one, right? We'll do this one.
Michamocha, Va'eli Madonai, Michamocha, Nedar V'Kodesh, Nora Tehilo, Oh Sefer, Michamocha, Va'eli Madonai, Michamocha, Nedar V'Kodesh, Nora Tehilo, Oh Sefer,
Now, I don't know if any of you got the dance moves over there. Aviva's not old enough to remember, but I'm almost old enough to remember that when the Israelites were going through the parted sea, some of the young girls that were in the parade going through the parted sea, that was the exact dance move they were doing as they were making their way out of slavery toward freedom. And I'm glad, Aviva, that you were able to share that with everyone, because now they know how everyone danced in joy on our way out of Egypt. We're going to continue as we turn to page 160. As we thank God for watching over us through the night and protecting us, keeping us away from enemy and illness and war, from famine and sorrow and wrongdoing, and spreading a shelter of peace over us as we sleep through the night. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chayim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chayim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Page 162. All right, Aviva, it's trivia time. Ready?
What can I say?
All right,
I'm
here we go.
back.
Aviva, how many times did Moses go up the mountain to talk to God?
Twice.
Guess any number between 2 and 4. Any
2,
number you want between
3.
2 and 4 will work. Go.
3.
3. That's how many times Moses went up the mountain. And Aviva,
Thank
do
you,
you
I
know,
totally didn't
as
have any
Moses was
help.
up there, Moses gave a final instruction, or was given a final instruction from God, before he came down the mountain the final time. Do you know what Moses heard God say?
Vishamru.
That's exactly correct. Yes, it is. The top of page 162.
I just looked
This
at the
was that
page.
message that God said to Moses to remind all of us of these important words.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורות הברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורות הברית עולם.
בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורות הברית עולם. וביום השני שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. I'm waiting for you.
שמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורות הברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורות הברית עולם.
If you will all please turn to page 164. And as we do, we come to the Amidah. Aviva, what do you think they should all do right now?
They should stay sitting, of course. Rise.
There we go. And we'll join together. Aviva's going to lead us through the first few paragraphs of the Amidah, and then we'll take some time for our own silent prayer. When you're finished with your silent prayers, the official prayers end on page 180 or 181, but you can also take time for your own meditations and your own thoughts. But we'll sing the first few paragraphs together.
Adonai sifatai titav uvid yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your
Praise
praise.
166.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Nachonei Hakol, V'Zocher Hasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mivi Gola, B'nei Bneihem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh U'Meta, Rav LeHoshia, Mashiv HaRuach, U'Marin HaGashem, Mechakel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol V'Rachamim Rabbi, Somech Novlim V'Rafeh Cholim, U'Atir Azurim, U'Mechayeh Emunato L'Shenei Ofa, Nicha Mocha Matzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'emanata l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayev hakol.
170. Ata kadosh,
Moshe
kadosh, ukadoshim b'chol yom, Yahalelucha sela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. We continue 172 through 180 in the traditional Hebrew or English, or 173 through 181 in the poetic renditions, or time for your own silent meditations and prayers. When you finish with your silent prayer, please be seated. Page 180. Oh,
Say shalom limroma, Uyase shalom aleinu, Ve'al kol Yisrael, Ve'imru amen. Oh, say shalom limroma, Uyase shalom aleinu, Ve'al kol Yisrael, Ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Thank you, Aviva. We're going to continue on page 371. 371 as we take a moment to think of those people who are in need of healing. We ask for God to bring complete healing for Carrie Susser, Brian Zabel, Reuven ben Sipora, Moshe ben Avraham, Avram ben Odul, Ellen McIntosh, Susan Perry,
Paltiela bat Mordechai Vavasha, John Sheck, Faye Green, Malka bat Hillel Halevi, Cheryl Miller, Jessica Sidman, Yaakov Ben Baruch, Yisraelit bat Hilda, Carol Miller, Howard Messerman, Judy Salkin, Harriet Neal, and Yisrael Aharon Ben Reuven Chaim HaKohen. Are there any other names that anybody would like to include for healing? We'll start over on this side of the room. Other names, go ahead. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else on this side of the room? Thank you. On this side of the room, names for healing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Any others? For all those we've named. For those of you at home, if you have names that you'd like to include, you can say them out loud. On page 371, we ask God for refuah shlema, for complete healing for each and every one. Mi sheberach mi'avoteinu mikor habracha le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mikor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. On page 586, we rise for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gdula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kogoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kimishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamelachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu Shehu Notei Shamayim Veyoser Haaretz Umoshav Yikaro Bashamayim Ima'al Ushchinatu Zo Begovhe Meheromim Hu Eloheinu Einod Emet Malkeinu Efesu Lato Kakatuv b'Torato Yadata hayom v'hashivota elevavecha Ki Adonai hu Elohim Bashamayim ima'al Ve'al ha'aretz Mitachat ein od in the middle of 590. Ki ha'malchut shelcha hi olam timloch bechavod, kakatuv b'toratecha, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, v'ne'emar vaya Adonai le'melech al kol ha'aretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, Ushemo echad, Ushemo echad. We can all be seated. As we turn to page 598, we think of those who have died in this season and years gone by. In our yard sites this week, we remember the memories of Charles Lipsher, Sam Kaufman, Stanley Newman, Barbara Nash, Betty Clayman, Betty Levenstein, Herman Bloom, Mandel Silver, Minnie Fleischer, Minnie Schweller, Morris Mussman, Rosalind Weinberg, Rosalind Green, Sidney Diamond, Herbert Lissner, Ira Shapiro, Margaret Vogel, Stephen Deutsch, Alexander Weiss, Betty Berger, Edward Saravis, Edwin Allen, Jacob Rudnick, Mayor Simon, Milton Brodsky, Moses Ginsburg, Giza Newman, Jake Barish, Lenore Bartner, Marvin Koskov, Min Kaufman, Noel Schmemmerman, and Rebecca Levine. Are there any other yard sites that anyone is observing this week? Yehu Zichronam Levracha. May their memories be an eternal blessing. We ask mourners to rise and those whose custom it is to stand with them. As on page 598, we sanctify God's name in their memory. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah. Be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudisha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. De'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav. Huyaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. We can all be seated. There's a couple of people who are looking at me saying, he didn't give a sermon yet. That's because I'm saving it to lead us into the final piece of music that we're going to sing tonight, because they tie together. But before we do that, I'm going to invite David Weiss to come up, representing our board. And David, the Friday night version is actually sitting up on the beam. I saw you grabbed the Saturday version there, but the Friday night one's right over there, with a few announcements, including a couple of very, very important things about this Sunday and next Sunday.
Oh, it's so wonderful to see everybody here. This was really wonderful, and my daughter's bat mitzvah is in January, and so we thought that if she participated in the services before all her big family comes, she'd feel more comfortable, things would go smooth, she'd feel like she's part of the community, which is the whole idea, for her to feel part of the Jewish community. This Temple Shalom is her home, this is her rabbi, and that's growing up, this is where she is. So thank you all for being here. And thank you, Rabbi Sherwood and Aviva. As a reminder, we've been so busy. Don't forget, Daylight Savings Time ends on Sunday, November 6th at 2 a.m. So don't wait till 2 a.m. to set your clocks back. Okay, and then join us on Saturday, November 6th for the first in-person Sunday, November 6th. Yes, Sunday, November 6th for the first in-person Men and Women's Club meeting. Men and Women's. Yay. The speaker will be Skylar Forrester, and the topic will be special update on the Ukraine-Russia conflict. So there's going to be davening at 9 a.m., breakfast at 9:30, and Dr. Forrester at 10 a.m. So please register at templeshalom.com. And our own Herman Susser is going to bring his famous klezmer fiddler self to the program at Senior Lunch on Wednesday, November 9th. The program starts at 12:30. If you want lunch too, contact Susan Shank immediately to reserve your dine-in meal. Contact info is in the weekly email. And if you're a Temple Shalom member, you'll soon be getting an email or a letter concerning Sunday, November 13th, semi-annual congregational meeting. Sign up and join us at 9:30 a.m. for breakfast with the board. And stay for the 10 a.m. call to order and meeting. So that should be fun. And on Friday, November 18th, we're celebrating our Belonging and Membership Shabbat at the Erev Shabbat service. So this service, members sign up and be recognized. Yay. And there'll be member Shabbat. and dinner. Register now and tell us what dairy and parve dish you want to bring. And we're planning to be there, my family. And of course, very importantly, if you know any Temple Shalom members who are ill, hospitalized, or suffering for loss, please contact the temple office so we can be sure to provide encouragement and support and prayers and thoughts. And thank you, Judy, for the oneg this evening, or whoever is providing it, Temple Shalom. Judy, you have an announcement.
If you are not aware, my dream came true this spring when I finally got to start the program here. I wanted to start with 12 years.
And Judy, I'm going to give you a microphone so the people online can hear you too.
So 12 years in the making. I finally got the board on board, and we have a Temple Shalom outreach program. And we have been doing projects since last winter. And one of the projects is working with Habitat for Humanity on a build project in a suburb that a developer donated a huge tract of lots to Habitat to build a neighborhood in this brand new neighborhood. And this coming Friday, I'm really excited to say that Temple Shalom outreach members have filled an entire slot for the build. And this is our last build for the year, but we will start in the spring. If you have not experienced working with Habitat, it is a joy. And they are just helpful and wonderful and welcome everybody. They find jobs for everybody. But it's a very exciting step forward for the outreach team of Temple Shalom, and we hope that you will watch the bulletins for more announcements on our projects and join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. And this is the second interfaith build that is building a home here in Colorado Springs. So we're excited that our congregation is a part of this project. It's a great project.
That's wonderful. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. So this week, our Torah portion is called Lech Lecha. It's the story of the beginning of the Abraham saga. We met Abraham last week at the end of the Torah portion, where it tells us the 10 generations from Noah to Abraham. His name is Avram. It'll change to Abraham in just a couple of weeks here. But God gives Avram an instruction, and God says to Avram, Lech Lecha, me'artzecha, mi moladitcha, mi beit avicha, le'eretz she'ani erecha. Y'all got that? Excellent. Lech Lecha sort of means go. We'll come back to that in a minute. From your land, from the place of your birth, from your parents' house, to a land, to the land that I will show you. Leave where you are and go to a new place, with the instruction of Lech Lecha. Lech. For those of you who are grammar nerds like I am, Lech is in the jussive form of the conjugation of the verb. That's a command form. Go. It's not, I got a suggestion for you. It's not that. Go. And then we have this Lecha, literal translation, to you. Often translators will translate it as, you should surely go forth, go on a journey. But if we translate it directly into English, it gives us an odd phrase. Go to yourself from your land, from the place you were born, from your father's house, literal translation, to the land that I will show you. Go to yourself, to a place you don't know, to a place that's far away. And you're going to go, I believe the Torah is telling us, to go find yourself. Because you haven't done what you're supposed to do in your life yet. Lech Lecha. Go to yourself, find what your purpose is, and then in the new land, go and do it. And then God says you will find blessing there, etc., etc. But lech lecha, go to yourself. Find your purpose. One might wonder a few sentences later why Avram has not done this already, because the Torah tells us that when this conversation between Avram and God takes place, Avram is 75 years old. What took you so long? What have you been waiting for? The answer is for God to say it's time to go do the thing that you need to do, because maybe the thing that Avram needed to do wasn't quite necessary yet. But now was the time, and somewhere off there was the place. Sometimes God teaches us in this Torah portion, we need to lech lecha. We need to go to ourselves. We need to go on a journey to find what our purpose might be. Sometimes that journey might be to a brand new land, thousands of miles away in Avram's case. Maybe the Lech Lecha is saying to our children, now it's time to leave the house and go off to college or trade school or a job or an internship to go find your purpose. Maybe it's to leave the comfort of our couch and go into the neighborhood that's located right outside the door, that's not all that many feet away from that couch. And we're supposed to go find ourselves by walking through the door. Maybe we're supposed to go on a journey to a place we do not know, and that place we do not know is right in front of us. It's amazing how many people I talk to, not just here in Colorado Springs, but everywhere I've lived, who have never been to the places that I've been that are right outside the door of the synagogue here. They're a block away, and they're 8 blocks away, and they're 2 miles away. Yes, I've lived in Colorado Springs all my life, people say. And I say, have you been to this? No. Have you visited that? No. Have you ever had dinner in this restaurant? Never heard of it. Did you know that there are people who need help over here? I've never seen them. Sometimes our lech lecha are going to find ourselves and our purpose in what we're supposed to do, what we're supposed to change, what we're supposed to affect. Sometimes it might be a far-off journey. Sometimes it might be a close-by journey. But wherever that journey takes us, there are times where we need to heed the call of lech lecha. Go find yourself. And when you do, as God tells Avram, you will go to a place that you will be a blessing, and the nations will bless themselves by you, and you will be their moral compass, their ethical guide. We all have the opportunity to go on that very journey, to go and find ourselves, but not for ourselves, but we go find ourselves in how we can help others and what we can do so that we, as the Torah tells us, will become a blessing. Those ideas became the text of a song written by songwriter Debbie Friedman and poet Savina Tubal. You'll find those words at the top of page 645. They come directly, the first couple of words come directly out of the Torah portion. They're inspired by Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 through 2. That we'll actually read tomorrow morning, those very lines in our Torah service. To a land that I will show you. Lech lecha, to a place you your name. Lechi lach, to the place that I will show you. Lesimchat chayim, lesimchat chayim, that means to a happy life. Lesimchat chayim, lechi lach. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. And you shall be a blessing. Lechi lach. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. To those of you who are joining us online, we wish you a Shabbat Shalom and a good evening. For the rest of us, we'll make our way to the social hall for Kiddush and Motzi. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. And you shall be a blessing. Lechi lach.